What's up, my friend? How are you doing today? Take a look around you and you shall see lots of information about lots of things, just like we shall be seeing in today's video. Different people talking about the creator, mysterious things, among other strange things that are happening in today's world. It's why we here, my friend, are dedicated towards spreading peace in such a time of chaos in this world, making sure all earthlings live in honesty, are forgiving towards one another. And above all, my friend, everyone loves their neighbor the way they love themselves. Speaking about the times we are living in, there's this book here, the Book of Wisdom, which you normally read from. And surprisingly, it also have information about these times we are living in. Let's hear what it says from Matthew 24:23 going down. It says, At that time, if anyone says to you, Look, here is the Christ, or there he is, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and miracles to deceive even the elect. If that were possible, see, I have told you ahead of time. So, if anyone tells you, there he is, out in the desert, do not go, or here he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as lightning that comes from the east is visible, even in the west, so will be the coming of the Son of mine, of mine. Wherever there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather. Interesting, my friends. We here really acknowledge our creator, our supreme maker, as the guide of this show, my friend, and as our source of light. So together, interesting soul, we shall be giving thanks to them before we start our show of today. Let's do so kindly. Thank you, wonderful Father, for your word that you have heard today from the book of wisdom. Thank you, dear Lord Father, for this chance, Father, to be here with your child, today's viewer. Thank you for their lives, Father. Thank you for your love in them, Father. Bless them abundantly, Father. Reveal yourself to this viewer's life today, Father, and may your blessings reach them from wherever they are. Give them peace that is from God, Abba Father, and forgive them all their sins. Help us to react to these videos with love, kindness, and unity, Father, and fill us with your Spirit all through till the end. Help us all to carry our burdens, Father, and be the foundation of our lives. In your holy name, Jesus Christ, we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Interesting, so good vibes. I think let's dive in.
Last night I was setting up my drone because I saw a drone outside, right over the house. So I went to set up my DJI drone. It was probably around like 11:30 at night. I was like, oh my God, I see, one of these drones, another one. And so I decided to fly my drone outside just to get some footage, to try to get closer to it. I mean, why not, right? So while I was setting this up, all the power in my house went out besides the TVs. So my computer turned off, all the lights turned off, the garage, I was in the garage setting it up, the garage lights turned off, everything shut down. Walked into the house, but the TVs were still on. So, I don't know. I mean, it was the weirdest thing. Normally when you lose power, you lose, the TVs turn off, everything. The TV stayed on, and my house was in complete pitch black. It was so weird. I'm planning to start flying my drone at it, getting some footage. So I don't know, guys. I've heard other things, in the past about UFOs, sucking the life out of batteries and type of stuff like that. I don't really know what happened. It was so trippy walking back into the house and all the power was knocked out besides the TV staying on. So I don't know, guys. Stay tuned. I'm going to record one of these things.
Dr. Barker, I'm just going to stop you there. We're going to go to our camera at Sky City now. Just a few moments ago, this cloud of steam has risen up out of the water between Mission Bay and North Head. Dr. Barker? For viewers outside of Auckland, we've just felt a short charge.
Did you know your birthday can tell about your past lives? I will be talking today about the most karmic birthdays. If you're born between 14th and 22nd in any month, it means in your previous life you violated the law of karma, and in this life you need to work it off. If you're born on 14th, in your past life you were greedy, you lacked love, attention and money, and in this life you must live in moderation. You will never be given more than you deserve. In childhood, such kids can be underestimated by teachers. Parents may not have enough time to raise them. They will lack attention, love, care, and material goods. You must earn love, attention, and material goods by your actions. If you're born on 15th, in your past life you were involved in the occult, black magic, and influenced someone else's will. In this life, you need to choose which side you are on, the light or the dark. If you're born on 16th, in your past life you destroyed relationships of yours and others, houses, nature. Such kids can break everything, fight, and bring problems to their parents. In this life you are called to repair and build, helping others with housing or fostering healthy relationships. If you're born on 17th, in your past life you violated intellectual property laws, stealing ideas or works of art. Now, even with natural talent, you may struggle to be recognized. Your role is to help others discover and express their talents, such as working as a mentor, director, or guide.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm a sleep therapist and I like to spend time here on TikTok engaging with people. And I see a lot of videos promising, if you do X, Y, and Z or take X, Y, and Z, you're going to fall asleep instantly. But what I really don't like about that is that it kind of goes against how human sleep works. Most people take somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes to fall asleep, and it happens very gradually. Sleep tends to just wash over you when you're not trying too hard and when you're actually sleepy. Falling instantly asleep is often an indicator that you're just really sleep deprived, and whatever you're doing is helping you take the focus away from sleep, and your body's just doing its job. But it sets up this unrealistic expectation that every time you do that thing or take that thing, you're going to fall asleep instantly. That's rarely the case. Something to remember is that healthy sleep is not built on a collection of different hacks. Rather, rebuilding a sense of trust with your body and trying to create some rhythm and predictability, and also addressing any underlying medical or sleep disorders that might be causing problems, rather than trying just to address the symptoms with some magical hack. Follow me for more gentle sleep tips.
Here it is again, but now it's farther away and it's doing the same thing. It's just zigzagging across the field. Do you see that? Like it looks like it's just mapping over whatever this is. This is super weird. Like, yeah, I know there could be an explanation, like this is just the Google Maps, how they scan it from the sky or something, but this is kind of odd that we don't have an explanation. Here's another one. Now there's two. Yeah, I guess it could just be an enthusiast. I don't know why they'd be flying at night though. And I can't tell if it's the size of a normal drone or not because it's night, so like the lights look big regardless.
Come on, kiddo, let's go.
But yeah, that's super duper odd. My aunt was just talking about the car-sized drones flying over New Jersey at night and no one knows why. And then I see two of them. Is this one too or is it a star? No, it's another drone.
Let's start at 50.
It's so odd. It's so odd. Again, like, I don't know, like maybe drones have night vision now and these are just some enthusiasts, but now I'm seeing things and I'm like, is that a plane or is it a drone? Like, what's this? It's another drone. There's a lot in the sky right now. 1, 2, 3, and I don't see any pilots anywhere. Yeah, I guess I'm just being paranoid because they don't look car-sized, but maybe that was the media hyping it up. Here, it's getting close. It definitely just looks like a slightly above average sized drone. It does not look car sized to me. Why are they flying around at night like this?
The inner Earth people have built these androids that fly their flying saucers out to reconnoiter outer Earth. There are tunnels throughout the Earth that have been discovered, probably built by the antediluvian people that were quite advanced in the sciences and technology. There are caverns that go all the way through the Earth. In 1829, a couple of Norwegian people, Olaf Jansen and his father Jens, were fishing up north of Franz Josef Land when they noticed a lead through the ice, and they followed this lead northeast of Franz Josef Land and accidentally found their way through the North Pole opening to the inner Earth. Olaf Jansen reported that there is one continent inside the Earth and one ocean. The ocean is small compared to the continent. I estimate the continent to be about 16,000 miles from one side to the other, and the inner ocean only about 3,000. So most of the inner surface is inhabitable. The vegetation grows like a paradise. Some of the apples that grow on the trees in the earth are as large as your head. The grapes were as the size of our oranges. The people there live to be up to 800 years old with no sickness or disease. They were met by a ship of inner earth and were taken in by them, and they lived among them for 2 years. And they learned their language, which he described as similar to Sanskrit, related to him that their God that was Jehovah. Jehovah is the God of the ancient Israelites. These people inside the Hollow Earth have been living there for 2,500 years. Their capital city, which is built around the original lost Garden of Eden. And he described it on the highest mountain plateau of the inner continent, that where the vegetation grew even more profusely. With the scientific advancement that they have, they're a couple of thousand years in advance than us. People that live in the Hollow Earth are not extraterrestrials. Most of them are from the lost tribes of Israel that migrated into the North Countries over 2,500 years ago and have just progressed faster than we have because they don't have wars and sickness like we have. My conclusion is that the inner Earth people have built these androids that fly their flying saucers out to reconnoiter outer Earth. They have two brains. One is computer chips, and the other one is a human-type brain. They communicate with telepathy. There's indications that our government has been knocking flying saucers out of the sky and back engineering these flying saucers and have been building them underground, and they have been abducting people to try to bioengineering on them.
是啊，还有两个东西它是没有在一起的吗？
对呀，有两个东西没在一起，还在围着它旋转。
Here's how you know somebody has a good father, like a good dad. And this goes back to a simple quote by William Bennett, who said something very similar to the maxim that a good father is a son's first hero and a daughter's first love. He said, "Fatherhood consists of love, commitment, and sacrifice, a willingness to share responsibilities with one's partner, and above all, never walking away from one's child." And what he meant is that a good father is a presence in his children's lives. He loves them unconditionally, but he also enjoys shaping their life and watching it grow. He provides for them, makes them feel safe, but above all, he's a stabilizing presence. Like, the kid knows that no matter what happens, their father will be there for them, like their father is there for their mother. Because a good dad supports his partner in as much as he supports his children. A father is a role model, a son's first hero, a daughter's first love. That's a good father.
964 sightings of SUV-sized drones have been recorded across New Jersey, some of which have even been over critical military infrastructure. This heat map shared with us by local police highlights the shocking true scale of the mysterious drone activity across the Garden State. The drones have caused widespread concern across the nation as the government fails to provide any concrete answers.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports?
The government knows what is happening.
They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people. And they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know the truth? They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
What's a fantasy trope that in retrospect totally makes sense as a historical misunderstanding?
So almost all Latin-based languages can change the core meaning of a word by adding a prefix or a suffix, either the beginning or the end of the word. Now, if you study the stars, you're an astronomer. And if you study the zodiac, you're an astrologer. If you go to the stars, you are an astronaut. Now, we can add a prefix to those words to change their entire meaning. Miss with understanding changes understanding to a misunderstanding. Dis with order equals disorder. Now, for the longest time, we believe that floods and famines and earthquakes and horrible things happen because sometimes we were born under a bad star, or there was a comet coming through which bore bad pretense. This, my friend, is the origins of disaster.
So have you heard of the secretary problem? This is the mathematically correct way to know when to stop looking and when to choose someone. So the idea is, imagine that you're hiring a secretary and you have 100 people to choose from. Mm-hmm. And you have to go through each one at a time and say yes or no. So after the first person, yes or no. After the second person, yes or no. And if you say no, you can't go back. So the question, which is part of this way of mathematical thinking called optimal stop theory, is how many people should you go through? Because if you choose too early, you don't know what's out there. But if you choose too late, maybe all the good people have passed you by. And so the mathematically correct answer is that you go through the first 37 people, 37%. And you say, who is the single best person of that 37%? That's now your benchmark person. Next time that you find someone who's better than that benchmark person, you hire them.
If somebody wants to do coffee as a first date, this is somebody who goes on a lot of first dates and not a lot of second dates, or they're very cheap.
And this is the exact clickbait bullshit that's going to keep you single for a lot longer than you'd like to be. So apparently there are only 2 reasons on this entire fucking planet, that's to talk about black and white thinking, for why people go on coffee dates. It's either 1, they're dating multiple people and apparently never go on a second date, which is now mutually exclusive, or they're cheap. Let's try a perspective shift, shall we? I'm a fucking business owner. I am really busy. I don't go out. I don't like to drink. So the last thing that I'm going to do is meet some schmo off the internet that I have never met and say, well, I'm only going to have dinner with you. 1, now I have to be stuck with this person for a few hours at night. It's going to fuck with my sleep schedule. I don't really want to have alcohol. There's lights, there's music. I don't really get to know this person for who they are. It's more of a facade. Not to mention the amount of dinner dates I've gone on where the guy just wants to hook up. So for me, yeah, I was dating a lot of people because I'm super intentional with the way that I date. I want to meet my person, so I have to put myself out there. So I did a coffee date because it's like, hey, we got 45 minutes. Let's see if we jive. And if not, no worries, no harm, no foul. And if I'm not going on a second date, it's not because of the coffee. It's because I actually got to see who this person was without all the bells and whistles and realized I don't want to see them again. Not to mention dating's fucking expensive. And so what if I don't need to have somebody that's spending money on me to go to dinner just so that I never see them again? So if you want to go on a coffee date, go on a fucking coffee date. My partner and I went on a hike date for our first date, and here we fucking are.
The Bible talks about hair, even in the New Testament. It has spiritual implications. A lot of churches ignore it, or they look past it, or they dispute it for one reason or another. But it's in the New Testament for a reason, and those spiritual implications are worth exploring. One thing that I have seen in the many years of ministry that I've been involved in, I have seen several occurrences of both demonic possession and demonic oppression. And one of the things that I've seen repeatedly is when that demonic presence manifests, it wants to cut and or shave a woman's head. So I find that very interesting, given what trend we're experiencing among those that are a part of a certain political party. You can't tell me that we're not affecting the powers and principalities. This is more spiritual than many want to admit.
If a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody there to hear it, does it make a sound? What do you think? Well, I have the science to answer this question. The answer is no, because sound doesn't exist outside of the brain. When the tree falls, it emits a sound wave or a vibration. And then those vibrations tickle our little hair cells in our ears. And when these get tickled, they activate frequency-specific neurons in the brain, because the membrane in our ear is actually organized by frequency. The brain then goes on to construct the sound that we perceive. This is important, and I'm telling you this because it shows us that all of our senses are illusions that our brains put together for us to experience. People will literally hear words differently depending on the way their brain is wired. Remember the Yanny Laurel thing? This is why the way that your brain is wired is so important, because it is literally constructing your reality. Of course, you can just keep following along for more ways to rewire your brain.
Hey guys, so I'm on your For You page because I teach you how to read body language and microexpressions, and I give you cool and useful psychology tips and tricks. And today we're going to be talking about the red nail color theory. One of the reasons why people love wearing red nail polish is because they are perceived as more attractive, and that's for a few reasons. So red is associated with passion, with vitality, with fertility. So subconsciously you're just flashing to people that you are all of those things. You're confident, you're beautiful, and you're fertile. If you're single, this is going to make people kind of want to talk to you. And it's all subconscious. Red nails can also make you feel more confident because it evokes emotions and characteristics that correspond. Some people feel stronger, more powerful, bolder. Wearing red nail polish can make a person feel more secure, and it kind of demands attention. So if you're wanting a little pick-me-up this weekend, go and paint your nails red and literally watch as so many people approach you because subconsciously you're flashing to them that you're beautiful and confident and amazing. I love you guys. Bye.
The shower curtain effect is how shower curtains tend to blow inward at you whenever you take a shower. And over the years, there have been tons of hypotheses for why your shower curtain seemingly tries to consume you whenever you're trying to wash your body. And you just got feet for free, so don't take it for granted. First up, it's been thought to be just the fact that the hot water heats the air inside the shower. So the hot air rises and escapes above the shower curtain, and that creates low pressure, which pulls the colder air in from the bottom. Weirdly, it still happens in cold showers, so that can't be it. But the most popular explanation has been the Bernoulli effect explanation, which holds that air pressure decreases as a fluid's speed increases. The Bernoulli effect's got a lot of applications, like you can use it to calculate the lift on an airplane wing. But it's not fully sufficient to explain lift altogether. It's also the reason carburetors work. In the case of the shower, the thinking is that the rapid speed of the water increases the speed of the air around it too. And that creates negative pressure, which sucks the shower curtain in towards a leg hug. In 2001, David Schmidt of the University of Amherst created yet another explanation for the effect using computer simulations. He drafted a model of a typical shower and separated that shower space into 50,000 little cells. He ran the simulation on his home computer in the evenings and weekends, basically he said whenever his wife wasn't using the computer. And after 2 weeks of running those simulations, his Space Odyssey age computer had generated 30 seconds of simulated shower runtime. The simulation showed that it wasn't Bernoulli's effect, nor was it the chimney effect drawing that curtain in towards your leggies. Instead, the simulation showed that the shower spray creates a vortex inside the shower stall. And just like the center of a hurricane or cyclone, the shower spray-centric cyclone creates an area of low pressure, which draws the curtain in for you. David Schmidt won the 2001 Ig Nobel Prize in Physics for this work. The effect is pretty weak, so if you don't want it to happen, you gotta get a heavier shower curtain or one with magnets on the bottom. We have these lightweight clear curtains, and I just spray it with some water to weigh it down. Jesus, I can't speak today.
Take a look at this.
The reason marriage is important is because it is in the nature of love to bind yourself to the one you really, really love. And that's what our culture does not understand. Our culture thinks that you use a person as long as they are expedient, as long as they make you feel good about yourself, as long as they give you thrills, then you're together. But if they lose their ability to turn you on, to give you a jolt of pleasure, then you ditch them and go get somebody else. And Christ says, no, it's not so much a question of falling in love, it's a question of choosing to be in love. And that's what God wants us to do. God loved us so much that he sent his son Christ to bleed and die on a cross. And in the Garden of Gethsemane, Christ was not looking forward to, oh wow, I can hardly wait to be nailed to a cross. He wanted to get out of there. But he stayed there because he loves you and me, and he understood that love is not just a rush of pleasure. Instead, love is a commitment to stick with someone through thick and thin, through the good and the ugly. And what happens is then a deeper love grows as a result of that commitment.
And if you haven't heard it before, the people God brings into your life will either benefit you or they will become a lesson that you will benefit from. So no amount of time you spent on somebody will ever be a waste of your time. Amen and God bless.
So I'm schizophrenic and I'm going to show you what my hallucinations look like. So most of what I see is that I'll see a black shadow behind me, like this. Or I will see them peek around the corner like this. This is a major reason why I never have like doors like this. I always have them open because they will also do this one thing. They will look through the crack of the door and just stare at me. It's fucking freaky. Or I'll be in my living room and they'll be staring at me in my kitchen. So I really don't see people, I see black masses. I've seen zombie-like figures a couple of times, but I was really close to a mental breakdown. But yeah, that's what I usually see.
You want to know one of the most tragic verses in all of Scripture? After Delilah cuts the hair of Samson and he awakes because of the Philistines, it says, when he awoke from his sleep, he said, I will escape as I did before and shake myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. You see, the problem with Samson is that he leads this life of increasing compromise to the point where when the Lord leaves him, he doesn't even notice. In addition to a razor not touching his head, one of the things that the Lord tells his parents is to be careful not to drink wine or beer or to eat anything unclean. And what happens in Judges 14? Samson went down to Timnah with his father and mother and came to what? The vineyards of Timnah. A little bit later, we see that he comes to a lion carcass where there's a swarm of bees with honey in the carcass. And what does he do? He scoops some of that honey out of a dead carcass, which would have been unclean, into his hands, and he ate it. And in both situations, the Bible records that he did not tell his parents about it. So Samson makes a compromise on two of the three things that the Lord told his parents about. And when we get to Delilah, he finally gives away the third thing. Now, the interesting thing about the story of Samson is that God never says that his strength comes from his hair. Even in Samson's final moments, it says that he called out to the Lord, Lord God, please remember me. Strengthen me, God, just once more. It wasn't about the hair. It was never about the hair. It was always about Samson's holiness, his consecration unto the Lord. The Lord's strength that was given to Samson was for the people of God, to rescue them, to deliver them from the hands of the Philistines. And what we see Samson do is take what was intended for the people of God and use it for himself. He becomes cocky, he becomes arrogant, and more the things that were supposed to be set apart for the Lord, he compromises on. It's no longer about God, it's all about Samson and his gratification, which ultimately leads to God handing him over to his enemies, to his captors, which is a cautionary tale for us because when we make compromise after compromise after compromise, eventually God just hands us over to the things that will enslave us and take us captive. Not because he hates us, but because he loves us. Because it's ultimately when Samson is handed over to his captors, when his flesh is destroyed, that Samson comes around and realizes his folly. And that's where once more Lord's strength returns to him to destroy the Philistines. So why did God wait? Because he's patient. And he's compassionate.
Here's what color to wear based on your goals. If you want to be seen as knowledgeable, confident, calm, try blue. This is actually the dress that I wore in my TED Talk because I was trying to make myself calm and also look calm to the audience. How about green? So much research shows that green reminds us of a lush spring. So if you want to be seen as fresh and new, try green. If you want to be seen as high energy, try red. When people are passionate, when they're feeling excited, they often blush. So red is the most high energy color. How about if you want to be seen as formal? formal. Black is the most formal color, the most professional color. If you want people to focus on your content less than your looks, you might try black. If you want to be seen as pure and clean, try white, as there is very little showcase in white, except that you don't want to dirty your hands. Colors mean different things to different people, but these are basic universals. Think about what a color means to you, what people might associate with it, and most importantly, the best color is confidence. If you feel confident, you'll look good in any color you wear.